Okay, this may not go well because it's the day before 4th of July and you know how people are with their fireworks, and Lonnie is not happy. So if you hear him, I apologize in advance. But welcome back to another Mom Chat Mondays. On today's episode, we're going to be talking about traveling without your kid. If you follow me on Instagram or if you watched my most recent vlog, then you already know that this past weekend, or last weekend, Brody and I went to a wedding in Quebec in Canada, our first trip back to Canada in a while actually. And we left our 1-year-old, 16-month-old here in the house with his grandparents, and we took the trip by ourselves, and it was very, very nerve-wracking the entire, I want to say 3 months leading up to that, because I didn't know if I was gonna go 100%. It was like kind of 50-50. The week that I finally made the decision in my mind that I was gonna go, it was so nerve-wracking, but I did it, we did it, and we survived. So I figured I should pass on some tips on what I did to make it a little easier. And for you seasoned mamas who have done this multiple times, please leave your recommendations or your tips in the comments below so us newer mamas can read and incorporate those in our routine next time we travel without our babies. Because honestly, like, I think as he gets older, these tips are going to change, of course, and if they're younger, the tips are going to be different. So each one, teach one, or is it reach one, teach one? Either way, let's share the knowledge. Okay, so before we begin, go ahead and like this video and subscribe to this channel so you're always up to date when new videos get posted. Okay, let's begin. So my first piece of advice would be to vet your caregivers. And what I mean by that is, of course, make sure you're leaving your child with someone you trust, but it goes further than that. I trust my parents with everything, and I trust Brody's parents with everything, but when making this decision on who to leave Declan with for these 48 hours, Brody and I talked about it a lot, and I think ultimately we decided on Brody's parents because we thought it would be the best for him at this time. As I said, Declan is 16 months. He's exploring, discovering new things. He has activities that he likes, he has meals that he likes, he has books that he likes. So we wanted whoever stayed with him to be able to have the most fun and to keep him the most entertained. I want to say our family dynamic is kind of like Goldilocks and the Three Bears. Brody's parents are like super chill, super fun to be around, and they're very relaxed. My parents are very strict and safety first, very old school in a lot of ways, and Brody and I are in the middle of those two spectrums, which makes sense because we are our parents. So if Declan was a little younger, I think we would have chosen my parents, just because when he was younger I was very much not afraid, but I was a new mama. I just wanted him to be like in this cocoon of safety, no harm, and my parents are very much that way. They're quick to think about like concerns of certain things. For example, in our backyard, sometimes my son will walk outside. He has his toys out there. He likes to play around. We let him go barefoot, walk around, play with the dirt. My parents would be mortified if they were here and saw that. My dad would be like, where are his shoes? Why is he playing in the dirt? Whereas Brody's parents would be like, yeah, let him enjoy. As long as he's not doing anything that's harmful to himself, they'll let him explore. And that's what we wanted for him when we were gone. We wanted him to like still have fun and still be able to explore and kind of do the things he does when it's us, so it's still some sense of normalcy while we're gone. So Declan had time to like enjoy himself, play around. They went swimming like every day. He just had a great time. He didn't even care that we were gone, and that's honestly what I wanted out of the whole situation. It did hurt a little bit. It did sting that he didn't care, but that's what you want. You want them to just be content, so then you can enjoy your time as well. My next piece of advice is to keep some normalcy while you're gone. We had Brody's parents come down here to our house just so it wasn't too much change for Declan. Like, he's had his room, he had his dog here, he had his regular food, his blankie, everything was the same. It was just the people that were different, and I think that helped a lot. I think it's also very important that you have a schedule. Declan has a schedule like normally already. His activities, snack, nap, second activity, dinner, bedtime, like he has a whole schedule. So I was able to easily write down that schedule for his grandparents to follow. And of course they deviated from that a little bit and they did their own things, but there was always that baseline that they could return to keep his routine going, so it just wasn't too much change. It basically is limit or minimize the amount of change that is happening, because you being gone is already big enough that you want to just minimize the change in every other element. So in his daily schedule that I left for his grandparents, I also put like a little menu with meal options for breakfast, lunch, dinner, snack, just so they didn't have to like think too much. They already knew what he liked, when he liked it, and so on and so forth. I basically took out the guesswork. And of course, like there was days where they figured it out for themselves. Like they're grandparents, which means they've had their own kids, so they know some stuff. Next is to be over prepared. Honestly, it's always better to be over prepared than under prepared or just enough prepared, okay? It'll help you ease your anxiety and your stress. For example, Declan nurses at night to go to sleep. Like it's been so hard to kick that part of the weaning process, but I wasn't sure how it was going to be when I was gone, so I just pumped and left him a bunch of milk in the freezer and the refrigerator for my mother-in-law to give him at bedtime and like throughout the day if he needed it. He did not want any of the pumped milk, which I kind of knew was going to happen because I am pretty sure that he nurses just for comfort at this point. So the fact that I wasn't there, he was just like, I don't want this milk, I want the real boob. He didn't really use the milk at all, but I'm happy that I pumped just in case the opposite happened when I was gone. Like you always just want to be ready. And same with like documentation. You think that you're going for 2 days, 3 days, a week, 10 days, whenever 10 days is a lot. You think you're going for X amount of time, but you really never know what could happen, especially now traveling is outrageous. You don't know what delays, cancellation, or God forbid, like you die. So you want to be prepared with like information, documentation for your caregivers in case of the worst event. Like we left the envelope with Declan's passport, social security card, health card information, like just a bunch of important documents that they would need in the event that something unfortunate happened during our trip. And they didn't end up needing it, of course, thank God. But it's always nice to just know where things are in the event that something happens. Like God forbid, like he would have stuck a Lego up his nose or something and they had to go to the hospital. At least they know, okay, here's his health card, here's blah, 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 blah. Just be over prepared. The next thing you kind of need to figure out before you leave, but figure out if your kid likes FaceTime, okay? We FaceTime my parents a lot and he gets it. Like those are the people in the phone, he gets it. But when we tried to FaceTime him when we were gone, he was just very confused. He didn't know what was happening and it made him it caused distress enough that we decided to end the phone call and we didn't call him again during our whole entire trip. And I think it was for the better because he was having such a good time that we didn't want to disrupt the flow or make him anxious at all. So my in-laws would send me photos and videos and stuff just to help me out, but Declan was perfectly fine. It was more me who was struggling. So figure out if your kid likes FaceTime because you might be thinking you're doing them a favor by checking in on them, but really out of sight, out of mind might be the better approach depending on how long you're gone for, especially because our son can't talk yet. So I didn't want him to think like, oh, where's mom and dad? How come they're not here? Because he can't articulate when he wants us. I just wanted to show him like, oh, we're still around. But yeah, it kind of backfired a little bit. So yeah, just figure that out for your kid if they like FaceTime or if they understand it enough at this point in time. Last but very not least, if you've done all of these things, then relax and enjoy your time. Like you're already gone. So the worst thing to do for yourself is to be gone away from your child and then have the guilt of being gone. That's just a waste. You might as well have stayed, right? Be content, be relaxed in the knowing that you've left your child in the best hands possible and they're having a great time, so you should have a great time as well. So on that note, thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel so you're always up to date with new videos that go up. And if you don't already, go ahead and follow me on Instagram, TikTok, all the good places. The fun is in the Instagram stories, so don't miss out. Thank you so much for watching and I'll see you on another Mom Chat Mondays. Bye.